and you're listening to Books and Boba, a book club and podcast dedicated to books by Asian and Asian American authors. It's our first podcast of 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Marvin Yue. Joining me is
Rira Yu.
And
happy 2017.
Yeah, happy New Year. How was your holidays?
Honestly, my New Year's Eve was just spent playing a lot of Final Fantasy.
Oh, the new one, right?
The new one. What about you? I saw Snapchats, so like.
Oh yeah, I was out downtown LA at the Grand Park celebration. My girlfriend and I just decided to go check out the. They're doing this laser show thing on
Yeah, it
City
looked really
Hall.
cool. Yeah.
It's like our version of the ball drop, so we just wanted to go check it out. It was supposed to rain all day, so we weren't sure if we were going to go. But then when it looked like it was going to be clear for midnight, we headed out. And we got there a little bit before the crowd, so it was actually, we were able to get a seat and a good view, and
that's good.
It was nice, yeah.
It's funny that, like, of all the years that I lived in New York, I always made sure to get out before New Year's Eve because I didn't want to be there when everybody else came in.
That's true, but... You know, on one hand, it depends on how you deal with crowds.
That's true. I hate crowds.
I don't mind crowds. My girlfriend hates crowds, so.
Oh, but she still liked it, right?
We have to find a good spot. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to be standing in like the pit. You know, you want to be outside a little bit, but with
personal space,
a good view. Yeah, good personal space. You know, no, you're not like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And now it's a new year. It's actually been a while since we last talked because our last episode was
like a week before Christmas.
Yeah. So it's actually been a while. Good to be back. For those of you new to Books and Boba and wondering why we're not talking about this month's book yet, this is our mid-month episode where we go over the month's book news, including new releases, book deals, and discussions on hot and important topics in the world of books.
Yep.
Quick reminder that this month's book is still Something in Between?
Yeah, Something in Between by Melissa de la Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in paperback yet because it came out in October. So you can buy that hardcover at your local bookstore or go to your local library and borrow it. Or be like me and get the Kindle version.
Save some money.
I wanted to borrow it, but then like it was on the waiting list, and I was like, "God damn it,
right.
I don't like sharing."
Go to the library.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be talking about that book at the end of the month at our live meetup as well as our podcast. So tune back then. Make sure you read the book. It's a real easy 300 pages.
Yeah, I think it's a little over 300 pages.
Yeah, but it is a YA genre novel, so. It's actually a pretty breezy read.
Like, I was surprised that people already finished it within the first week of January. And I was like, dang, it's like a little over 300 pages.
So knowing me, it'll probably take me 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, binge reading.
But yeah, what's new for January?
Okay, so for new releases, the first book on our list is The Crystal Ribbon by Celeste Lim. It's published by Scholastic. And it is set in medieval China, and it tells the story of Jing, an 11-year-old girl sold by her family to become the bride of a 3-year-old husband, and follows her escape and mystical journey in which her destiny is foretold by a golden fox spirit. And that comes out January 31st, 2017.
Cool. That sounds great. I'll take care of the second book, Soulmated, Joining of the Souls #1 by Shayla Patel. Published by Month 9 Books, releasing January 24th, 2017. It's a YA urban fantasy that follows the relationship between Liam, an 18-year-old Irish royal empath who's been searching for his elusive soulmate, and Lakshmi, an Indian American high school student who wants the freedom to follow her heart.
Yeah.
That is YA as fuck.
Yeah, it is like really, really YA.
I feel like Liam is the new like...
The new what? Like
Jack or like... What's like
a heartthrob name?
Yeah, like an action hero name.
An action hero name?
Yeah.
I don't know, like something really Australian, right?
Like Jack.
But January's a pretty dead month for books overall.
I feel like it's the same for movies too.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of where you have a ton of releases at the end of the year. And then the new year, you kind of start slow again.
Yeah. I mean, even December, it's like not a lot of books, but I don't know, like I checked the upcoming releases for 2017 and there's a lot of books coming out in May. So like there might be like 20 books that we
Do you think
announced.
that's because of APA Heritage Month? Is this just some really dumb marketing ploy?
I mean, I'm
maybe
sure
Asians will read more during their month. You know?
I'm sure that's part of it, but I think it's also because like it's in spring and like people think like I think people relate reading to like the warmer holidays. I don't know why, like spring and summer.
But then I feel like people read when they're stuck indoors.
I know, right? I like read all my books during like really cold weather.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not something that we have to deal with here in LA.
Not for the
even though
past
for
2
the
weeks.
past couple of weeks, it has been super rainy, which is good. We're in a
is good.
drought. This will last us for another like 5 years before we rain again. But yeah, if you're in the East Coast stuck in the snow,
Yeah.
there's nothing to do. There's Netflix and books.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I think it's still cool that even during the slow months, we still get a couple new works by Asian American authors.
yeah, and it's really it makes me really happy to see a lot of diverse authors in YA specifically. Like, I mean, I make jokes about like YA books all the time, but I'm just like, oh, if I was like 14 years old, I would totally read that. And,
Yeah.
and like, it's always nice to see representation.
I mean, looking back at how I chose books when I was in that YA range, you know, middle school, high school, it was mostly based on cover, unless there was like the specific author that I wanted to read. So if I saw an Asian dude or Asian girl on the cover, I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
picking that up.
I mean, with the crystal ribbon on this list,
Or even the author's name, if it was like Asian.
I mean, like it's not so much the title, but like YA books have gotten a little bit grittier. Like, I mean, an 11-year-old girl who marries like a 3-year-old husband and she gets like abused by her family. Like, that's not something that I would expect from like a book by Scholastic, at least. Maybe like a bigger publishing press that publishes like adult books, but
Yeah.
it's interesting. Moving on to book deals and news. So first on our list is Shayantani Dasgupta sold her debut middle grade novel, Kiranmala and the Kingdom of Serpents, and a sequel as well to Scholastic in a 6-house auction.
Ooh.
The books draw from a traditional folktale of West Bengal, India, and follow the interdimensional adventures of a 12-year-old girl who finds out she's an Indian princess destined to slay bloodthirsty Raksh demons. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but demons. Publication is slated to begin in spring 2018.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like how there's more warrior princess stories these days.
Oh, yeah. If only they could all be musicals with catchy songs. I mean, to think about it, like, there is no Indian princess in the Disney lineup.
That's true. Huh?
Jasmine doesn't count. Jasmine is not Indian.
She's Arab, Arabian, Arab,
It would make sense if she was Arabian, but
Middle Eastern,
Middle
vaguely
Eastern.
Middle Eastern, generic Middle Eastern princess. Also in the news is I saw this on Greg Pak's Twitter. He tweeted a special preview image, but Marvel's Asian American superheroes will assemble in Totally Awesome Hulk number 15. Writer Greg Pak tweeted an upcoming cover which features Amadeus Cho, who's the new Hulk, Silk, who is the Korean American
aka Cindy Moon.
spider-powered hero, Ms. Marvel, who is currently Kamala Khan, and Shang-Chi, who I don't know who he is, but he looks like a martial arts dude.
He's like an old dude in the Marvel comics.
Saying that it's possible that no mainstream superhero comic has ever starred so many Asian American faces before. Issue goes on sale on January 25th. He also tweeted a cover of issue 17, which features S.H.I.E.L.D. agents Jimmy Woo and Jake O, along with Amadeus Cho, the Totally Awesome Hulk. And if you guys haven't checked it out, go to Greg Pak's Twitter, and it's or Angry Asian Man,
Angry Asian Man did a post
reblogged
on it
too,
yeah.
But yeah, I was super excited because everyone was super excited about when Jeremy Lin guested on the
Oh,
whole.
what? Really?
Yeah. And now he's like, it's kind of cool to have, especially Greg, who is very much a writer, comic book maker with like the mission of
Oh, yeah. Like
getting like, he created Amadeus Cho, and he was able to get him to become the Hulk.
yeah.
And it's just cool to have like a guy who is not afraid of just going balls out and getting representation onto comics.
Yeah. I mean, like when I read Angry Asian Man's post, I think he talked to Greg Pak and he pulled some quotes, but he said that he like kind of got inspiration from talking with other Asian American creators and just like thought about, what would happen if like all the Asian American superheroes like hung out. I mean, they have to hang out at least once in a while, right?
Yeah, they go to the superhero parties, like,
And it's like karaoke and like
go with the Asians,
Korean barbecue. I mean, there's like plenty of Koreans in that group of people, so
yeah, it's super exciting. People should also check out Greg Pak's other indie comic that he's releasing it through Dark Horse called Kingsway West, which is his fantasy Chinese American cowboy epic.
I never expected those three words to ever go
Yeah.
together in a sentence.
It's pretty cool. I think the first issue is out so far, and he's working on the second.
We need to read more graphic novels. We should just have a month where we read like 3 different titles, because it seems like people can read through them pretty quickly.
It'd be cool just maybe one of these days we should get either Marjorie or Greg onto the pod and just talk to them about
Is Greg
their
local?
work. I think Greg works out of New York. Yeah,
Damn it, East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to more news. Amazon Books plans to open its first New York City bookstore this week. The new branch will open in the Columbus Circle Mall area in the Time Warner Center building on 59th Street. And it's joining a growing roster of Amazon bookstores. They already have 3 in Seattle, Portland, and San Diego, with 2 planned sites in Massachusetts and Chicago.
Now, I'm not too familiar with these stores. Like, what are the perks? Is it just a place where you can get stuff sent, or
No, it's like a physical bookstore.
Oh.
You can like buy books for like the price listed on Amazon.
But they also keep an inventory.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I thought that was like I didn't know
Interesting.
that they had physical bookstores already. So it was like really weird that like
It's kind of like the murderer taking like the place of the thing he murdered, right? Like Amazon destroyed physical bookstores and now is becoming one.
like someone joked saying that they were taking the old space that Borders used to occupy. Like, and I'm just like, I don't think anybody would do that just because it's like humongous and New York real estate is like, but
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll have to check it out sometime.
I wonder if they do like ship books from Amazon physical bookstores. I mean, they must, right? Like if you order a book and like the store carries it, they would like ship it from there.
Well, if it's a retail outlet, I think it's more, they'll probably put on hold for you to come pick up. But if they're going to ship you a book, they're going to ship it from their distribution center because they're already set up for that.
Yeah, but like a bookstore in New York City, that's bold. New York City is like the capital of publishing and like bookstores. We have so many like used bookstores and specialty bookshops. It's like weird that like a new kind of like giant is moving in.
Yeah, right. It kind of feels like it's like the Walmart of bookstores.
Yeah.
Like Barnes & Noble feels
Barnes &
smaller
Noble is like the Kmart and like Amazon seems more like the Costco.
They're more like Sears. I'm gonna say Sears. Still respectable. You know, if I'm out on the mall, nice. You know, if I see a Barnes & Noble, I will go in.
Oh yeah,
You know?
same here. I'll go
Yeah.
in, but
Only because there's no other bookstores
that's so sad.
at any mall. Yeah.
Support your local bookstores, you guys.
All right, and I think we have one more news story, which is it's not necessarily Asian American related, but it is news. And those of you who have been following publishing will probably already know about it. But noted Twitter troll or performer, he's banned, right?
Yeah, he's permanently banned.
Milo Yiannopoulos signed a $250,000 book deal late last month with Threshold Editions, an imprint of Simon and Schuster, according to an exclusive from The Hollywood Reporter. Yiannopoulos is an editor at Breitbart News and a so-called alt-right pundit. He was permabanned from Twitter after organizing a racist online harassment campaign against Ghostbusters actress Leslie Jones. In his conversation with The Hollywood Reporter, he said, they said banning me from Twitter would finish me off. Just as I predicted, the opposite has happened. Did it hurt Madonna being banned from MTV in the 1990s? Did all that negative press hurt Donald Trump's chances of winning the election?
So this happened at the end of December. So it's already kind of like old news by now.
Yeah, because it's not him. He is going to be that no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. So it comes to the publisher being.
Yeah, a lot of people were complaining that Simon and Schuster signed him on, and they were saying, how can like such a mainstream, large publishing house take his book and pay this much money for it? And I mean, like, I was pretty upset about it as well, but I understood that Simon and Schuster also, they have alt imprints. I mean, like, Yiannopoulos' book was signed with Threshold Editions, and I know that that's like the alt-right publication under Simon and Schuster. So I was just like, okay, I can sort of see it, but still not okay, because it just seems like it was.
Well, you're giving them a mouthpiece. You're giving them a platform. You're paying him $250,000, which means you expect to make more than that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Threshold seems like they've already been trading in this type of like,
yeah, but it's
neocon,
never
like extreme.
Yeah, I mean, Threshold has published like titles by like Donald Trump, so it doesn't really surprise me that they would go for this type of book. But a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, boycott Simon and Schuster," and I'm just like, "Don't do that," because they have like a Muslim branch coming out like this year, Salam Reads. So like, you should instead just go support those authors.
So I guess my
books.
question here is, there's the philosophy after the election that people need to know more about all different perspectives.
Yeah.
At the same time, there's something to be said about showcasing hateful dialogue through your platforms. At the same time, if they didn't publish this book, someone else might have, right?
Yeah.
So from a business perspective, they have a label that's already brand aligned with with Yiannopoulos' like themes.
Yeah.
So they have a way to sell, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think it's even going to sell that much. I mean, like, people were pretty worried because he got all that publicity through like the Hollywood Reporter, and that that article just like spread like wildfire. And also like his book reached like top 100 on like the Amazon like a list of like Amazon's like most anticipated books, I think. But a lot of independent booksellers are saying no, like, we're not selling his book. And then a lot of major bookstores are also saying we're not going to showcase it at our store, but if someone calls and asks if we carry it, we will hold it for them.
So that's the thing with especially niche brands. So if you think about movies, right? Every movie studio has, or every movie company has distinct studios for their movies, right? So Sony, for example, since I worked there, you have Columbia Pictures, which is their flagship. That's where they pretty much, if they're going to have an Oscar movie, which they haven't had in like almost 20 years, Sony doesn't trade in Oscar-winning movies, but like their tentpoles, right? Their big movies are always Columbia. TriStar is they can be a little bit more risky with that. Some of the stuff that they're not as confident in might come in TriStar, but still AAA style movies. And then you have Screen Gems, which is their pretty much genre. That's where you get your horror, your sci-fi, your niche movies. In the same way, Simon Schuster, this Threshold sounds like it's a niche brand, which means that They probably have stores that they know they can sell in, but at the same time, they're not. It's a way to focus their efforts.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also like mixed messaging, on
Yeah.
Simon and Schuster's part, because you have a company that says like, oh, we're setting up like a specific imprint for Muslim books
Right.
written by Muslim authors, and then right around the corner you have like this white supremacist man, and it's just like, well, that's like,
Yeah.
I get it if it's just like business, but at the same time, like,
So yeah, the decision, that's where like the optics come in, right? The what you're actually doing doesn't match up with what you say you're all about, and that becomes all the more harder to hide, or all the more apparent when you're dealing with one of the most divisive /
yeah.
hateful people.
Also, they paid him a lot of money. Like, I don't know how much money celebrity authors get, like Amy Schumer,
Yeah.
or like I honestly can't tell you like how much money they get paid to write their own books, or to hire ghostwriters to write their own books, but it's just like like the amount that he got sounds pretty high.
Yeah, I hesitate to talk more about that without knowing the details of other book deals. But I think
Because I think that was part of the outrage.
part of the outrage is he's getting paid to be a shitty person.
Yeah.
I don't know how much editing they're going to be insisting that he put into. Like, are they in charge of editing, or is he like?
I mean,
it
it's
his
going
book?
through a publishing house, so I'm guessing that he has like a team of
Editorial control.
editors to like go through his book.
But
It would be so funny if he had sensitivity readers.
but it's at the end of the day, it's him, and most people in the world, I would say, find him totally revolting.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, this is the man who called feminism like cancer. So yeah, like I would say that he is a repulsive human being.
So in terms of where the book will sell, like you said, like there will be people who are fans of him who will read everything he writes.
Yeah.
And that is probably what Simon Schuster is counting on to make their money back. And then everything else is just like a bonus, which begs the question, like, with such a limited upside, why make the deal? But I don't know. I wasn't in that room. I don't have the numbers. Maybe there are more shitty people in this world than we think.
I mean,
That's always a possibility.
What happened like at the election? It just showed that there's a lot more shitty people in this country than you think. So,
but I do agree. It sucks. It's always sucky when companies that we want to applaud that do cool things, like have an imprint dedicated to Muslim American authors, or have inclusion and diversity. And maybe this is all about them wanting to, have everyone come together and see everyone's points of views and be more cohesive as a group. They might have the best of intentions, but the result is, this kind of shitty guy gets paid a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, my hope is that they do not make their money back, like from that deal. But I'm pretty sure they will. Anyway,
I mean, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. But they definitely got a lot of bad press for that.
Yep, it's still going. Like the news that I mentioned about like bookstores saying like, oh, we're not going to sell this. I just read that today. That came out today.
Yeah, like we said earlier, where we should get some of the authors in one of these days. We should get like a publisher in one of these days.
I want a publisher or like a literary agent. Yeah.
And if those of you listening want to talk about issues like this, issues with the industry, things you've learned, maybe you worked there before, please talk to us on the Goodread forums, where they're listening all the time, participating. We do more than just read. We talk about the news.
Yeah,
so,
talk about the news. And
definitely come say hi and join the group. And I think that'll do it for this update.
Yeah,
it's a little shorter. It's a slower news month, but looking forward to some great things in 2017. Well, really quickly, what are your What are your goals for Books and Boba for 2017?
For 2017. I don't know. Like I have like my personal reading goals, and then I have like goals for
Reba seems
this
to be
book club. So
Reba seems to think it's possible to read 100 books in a year.
it is possible. You just have to read 8 books a month.
That's insane.
What do you mean?
As the founder of Book Club, trust me, that's insane.
I mean, like I'm a pretty fast reader, and also I can cheat by reading like shorter books and like books that are in the YA middle grade genre. So I could definitely.
You mean books
cheat.
for babies? You can say it.
Books for younger folks, but are entertaining anyway. Or I could just like read novellas, but I think it's possible.
Well, keep us updated. It's been a week. How many have you read so far?
I read 4.
Holy
I'm
shit.
halfway done. Halfway done for my month's quota.
Oh my god. Okay.
But don't doubt me. I can do it. But for book club, I mean, it would be like right now we only have our LA chapter where we meet in person.
Right.
So it would be cool if we had like another city chapter and them having their own book club meetings, because
Yeah.
I'm interested in like how their discussions will go, and sometimes I'm just like meeting LA people is nice, but I want to like meet other people. So if you're from a different city and you're listening to this, please go on Goodreads and say hi.
Yeah, participate in the discussion. We do talk about the books at length. Some people like write a lot about their thoughts.
Oh yeah, because like
about the
you
books.
spend like 6 hours reading a book, you're gonna spend some time writing a review of it.
Yeah, and the hope is sooner or later we'll have enough people together. Like maybe we find out we have 4 to 5 people hanging out in Portland, and they can get together.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess like for personal reading goals, like on top of like trying to read 100 books, I'm gonna say this right now. Like I'm probably not gonna be able to finish that goal, but it's a goal.
I don't know. You read 4 books in a week already.
I might get lazy like halfway into the year, but I also want to try and read harder. I mean, I know that this book club, we focus on books by Asian and Asian American authors, but I want to definitely read books by like Latino authors and Muslim authors, LGBTQ. I would definitely like to read more books featuring characters who have disabilities and are written by authors who have disabilities. So like I definitely want to challenge myself more by like stepping out of my comfort zone when it comes to books. I probably should read more nonfiction too, because I feel like most of the books I read are like sci-fi or like high fantasy.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can read some.
I need to read about like how the world works, like read some science books, because
That's true.
because like knowing like reading sci-fi is like one thing, but like actually knowing how like real science works, that would probably be helpful.
Narrative nonfiction might be a good stepping stone for you.
Yeah.
Then something like Michael Lewis, who writes The Blind Side, or Flash Boys might be good.
Yeah.
Because that also has a Asian American lead.
Yeah.
Asian Canadian, actually.
Asian Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Marvin? What are your goals? Personal and
Personal goals, I want to read at least 12 books, the 12 books that we'll read for this podcast this year.
Wait, if you don't meet that goal, that means that you fail to finish one of the books for
I'm
book club.
aiming low.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been really cool just reading again, like I've said before on this podcast. So I'm looking forward to our next couple books. I'm looking forward to reading this month's book. I haven't been able to crack it open yet, but I have it. I bought it at Barnes & Noble the other day. Mm-hmm. No, or did I buy it at Amazon? I forget. Last few weeks have been a blur.
But you bought it.
Important thing is I have it.
Yeah.
And then for this book club, I think my goals are more focused on the podcast.
Yeah.
As you know, this podcast is part of the Potluck Collective, and we're actually getting a studio soon. We're starting to set it up this weekend, and hopefully it'll be up and running by next month. So it'll be easier to get people together to go record. And things like we talked about during this podcast, setting up interviews with writers, publishers, book critics, people who
People who are actually professionals.
People who we can talk to and learn more about how
Yeah.
the world works. Like you said, it's all for you, Rira, to help you learn how the world works, especially the book world. Because there's so much going on. There's so many people just working within it. It'll be interesting to get their perspectives too and learn more about this world that I've kind of ignored for a while. But it's definitely thriving. I mean, I feel bad that I don't know more about books until they become movies.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people don't realize that like more than half the movies that they watch are based on books.
Yeah.
So
I think that'll do it for
Yeah,
this
that'll do it.
this month's mid-month episode. Thanks for listening again. Don't forget you can always subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, or wherever podcasts are found through our RSS feed. Please give us a rating and review on iTunes if you do listen to us there. And don't forget, this month's book is Something in Between by Melissa De La Cruz. You can find that on Amazon, at your local bookstore, or on Kindle.
yeah, and LA folks, we're meeting on January 29th. You can check us out on Facebook and figure out where we're holding the meeting and everything.
Yeah. And speaking of meetings, don't forget to join our Goodreads group on goodreads.com. There you can keep tabs on our monthly picks as well as discuss book news with us and your thoughts on our monthly books on our forums. And
Have a lovely January.
yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you all at the end of the month.
Right, keep reading.
Bye. This episode of Books and Boba was hosted by Marvin Yue and Rira Yu and produced and edited by Marvin Yue. For further discussion on the books covered at Books and Boba, please visit our Goodreads forum. You can find the link on our Facebook page at Books and Boba, as well as by searching for the group Books and Boba on Goodreads.com. Books and Boba is also a proud member of the Potluck Podcast Collective, a brand new collective of Asian American podcasts and podcasters. You can learn more about the collective as well as check out our founding slate of programs by visiting the website www.podcastpotluck.com.